What I was going to say is, I don't think so. Your prompt here says that says why should I convert to Christianity, and like as a Christian, I don't believe that it's. I believe that each of us needs to find like our own reason to convert. So, but like, I believe that it's our place to tell you like our reason, what brought us to the faith. So like,
Yeah. No, you're supposed to give a defense
yeah.
for anybody
So
who asks. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, so for me, like I remember like it was the when I begun to believe it was like at one of the lowest points of my life. Like I remember feeling like lonely. I just moved to like a southern like college. We're really tiny and I felt like I had no friends and I was just alone literally all of the time. And then like one of my friends, he saved me. He invited me to church, and then like the next thing I knew, had all of these like friends and stuff. And God granted my wish for friendship and companionship. And the minute that when I started like questioning stuff, and like when I took myself out of that, I found those friends that I had made leaving. So like, and then I believed again, and then like they all just came back, and I feel like it goes to show that like the Lord is capable of granting you your wishes, your desires, if you just stay with Him.
Do you think that applies to everyone that believes in him?
Most people, I think that your desires need to be like in accordance for like His will, which is what is good for you ultimately. But yeah, I think that you need to want what is good for you, and He will give you what's good for you.
Always? Like, don't you think that there are probably people in the world that believe, that pray, that want good, that do good, but they continually suffer and experience hardship and really kind of never make it out? And
I believe
go ahead.
I believe that suffering that they're through, I believe that I believe that God is powerful, but I also believe that like sin is powerful as well, and like it's powerful in its own way. God is more powerful than sin, but God also values free will, which is why He like puts sin there. And as long as there's sin in the world, there will always be like things that are like beyond His control because He gave us free will, which allows like bad stuff to
Do
happen.
you, but do you really think, but do you really think that a God who is all powerful has things that are beyond his control? Like that doesn't seem compatible with
Um,
you know what I mean? Like a God who can't be in control of something even though he is all powerful.
well, he he doesn't really. He can be in control. He just doesn't want to.
Does he choose to not be in control always?
Um, well, that's kind of weird. I'm still new to like Christianity and
Yeah.
stuff, so like
Yeah.
I'm not entirely. I don't claim to be entirely sure, but like he chooses weird
Yeah.
place.
Do you believe, uh-oh, I think we lost you. Uh-oh.
I'm
Oh, there
sorry,
you
my
are. There you are.
battery.
You're
I'm
good.
sorry, my
You're,
battery's low.
oh no, oh no. Am I gonna lose you? Do you need to go?
Oh, I'm good. Like I
Okay.
don't wasn't planning on staying for too long.
Yeah. So I want to pick your brain. Is, do you believe God is omniscient? Do you believe he knows everything that's going to happen in the future?
um, he kind of. I think yes, he. I think that he knows our hearts and like he knows like who we would be. He knows all of the choices that we could make. But the fact that
But
we're
does he know all the choices you will make? Like, can he predict with certainty everything you're going to do?
I don't think that he could do that. No.
So you don't think he's all powerful then?
Um, I
Like
think
omnipotent?
I guess not.
Okay, okay. I mean, that's fair. That's totally valid and fair. When I was a Christian, I believed in a God that was omnipotent. I believed in a God that was like all powerful. He could do anything he wanted. There was nothing God could not do. So you're saying you don't believe that that's the case with your God?
I guess I feel like he. I feel like and this is a weird way of putting it, but like the way I've heard put before is I feel like when God like gave us free will, he kind of nerfed himself. You
Okay,
know?
I can appreciate that. I mean, I can understand how that would like follow, or how like maybe God could like create like kind of a barrier for himself, maybe. But do you really think that God gave humans free will? Like, do you get that from the Bible? Like, what makes you believe that God gave people free will?
Well, he sort of. I think that by putting like the when he supposedly, I'm not sure exactly how to interpret this part, but when he like put Adam and Eve in the garden, he presumably like made like the tree that held the fruit that they ate that ultimately led to the destruction of mankind. I feel like him putting there was
So he
put
like
off.
gave them the choice.
Yeah, he gave them the choice. Yeah.
So so. I believe that free will is different than free choice. There's kind of a distinction there. Free will, as like defined in like the dictionary, is the freedom to act without the constraint of consequence or fate. So, for example, like I can go up to I might have the free will to like choose to put creamer in my coffee or not put creamer in my coffee. Like I think I might have the free will to do that, although there is a consequence. Like if I put a lot of cream and sugar in my coffee, that could lead to health problems. That could be a potential consequence, right? So some people see free will that way, where like if there's a consequence, if you're being punished for making the wrong decision, then you might not actually be free, right? So like if somebody has like a weapon to you and they're like, if you scream, I'm going to, use the weapon. You have the choice, like you have the free choice to either scream or not scream. But do you really have the free will to be, to exist, or has your free will been taken away because you're making choices under duress, under coercion?
I
Like in
feel
that scenario, in that specific scenario, do you think somebody actually has free will if they have a weapon to them and they're told they have to either make a choice or the weapon will be used? Do you think that that's like free will?
I feel like the Bible makes very clear like what impact that choice has. Like God's not holding a gun up to you saying that like if you do all of these things, then I'm like pushing you down. Like he says that
Right.
you're walking there yourself. Like you're by choosing not to believe, you're intentionally alienating yourself from everything that's good.
Yeah, but let's go back to the story of Adam and Eve, because you said that that was kind of like where you got the concept of free will, right? Was in the garden where God gave Adam and Eve the free choice, the free will to choose to eat from the tree or not to eat from any tree. They had free will. But what I'm saying is that if they really had free will, then they could go and do whatever they want, and God wouldn't enact punishment against them for making a choice he didn't want them to make. Because it kind of seems as though if he's saying, yeah, you have the free choice, you can go eat whatever you want, but if you eat of that one tree, I'm going to punish you. Now it kind of turns into coercion, where he's trying you to make a specific choice. Is that really free will? Like, do you really have freedom at that point? It's not like I get to choose to put creamer or not creamer in my coffee. I'm not being punished if I don't put creamer in my coffee, you know? But if I don't choose God, am I going to be punished?
I feel like, and a lot of this doesn't really make sense to me either. I'm not claiming to be like an expert on
Yeah,
this,
no,
but I
that's
feel,
okay. And it's okay. I'm not like pressuring you. It's totally okay to be like, I don't know. Like, that's a totally valid response. It's a respectable response.
yeah. Well, in that case, I'm just gonna say I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's this.
I mean, I
What
don't know.
we're
It just,
talking about right now is actually one of the reasons, and still one of the reasons why I mentioned that I like left. Like this question is the reason why I left before, like I was alone again and stuff.
yeah, yeah. And and I totally get like, I've said before, I totally understand, turning to spirituality, religion, God, whatever you want to do, like when you're in a bad place and it brings you comfort and peace and hope. And if that's it, that should be enough for you. Like you don't have to validate that, you know? Um, at that point though, like for me personally, I can't take like your personal experience, just like you can't take my personal experience and go like base your spirituality off of that, right? So I wouldn't be able to take like the fact, like your personal testimony and apply that to my life in any way because that's not my journey, right? So I'm kind of at the point where I don't find like sufficient reason to believe in it, and so that's why I don't believe. You know, it has nothing to do with like being hateful or not wanting to believe or anything like that. It's just kind of a position of like I just don't feel like there's enough evidence, and it never brought me like that comfort and hope. Well, it did bring me that comfort and hope for a short time, and then later on it didn't bring it to me, so I just changed my path in life. And then going through the questions like the free will argument, this idea, this concept of like what you believe determines where you go in the afterlife. Like you are either rewarded or punished based on if you believe in God or believe in Jesus. To me, belief just seems like such a weird measure for morality. It seems like a weird way to like measure if someone deserves like eternal punishment or eternal reward, you know? So those things like that, they don't really like line up for me. And I have a hard time making sense or justifying things like that, within like Christian ideologies.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's like it's a bunch of like weird shit that I honestly, frankly, don't get. But like,
Yeah.
honestly, like God has just done so much for me. I feel like there are things that have happened to me that I can only think of God as the only explanation for. So like,
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like I can believe in it without really understanding it. I'm just, which I
Yeah,
know is
yeah. I
kind of
That's more power to you. I'm of the mind that like if I can't fully understand it, I am not dedicating my life to it. I am not going to like invest into it. But that's me personally. We all think different. We all approach it differently. And you seem very nice. You don't seem like you're trying to force your beliefs or get other people to believe. Like you've been super nice with me and you haven't been pushy. And I think that's totally respectable. And if I wish that more people on both sides of the fence could come together and have these conversations where, you can say you believe and this is why, I can say I don't believe and this is why, and we can be like, I get it, and then just move on. I think that's amazing.
right. Like I was always taught like from the minute that like I walked in, like the first sermon that I saw was about like community and stuff, and it's like a community of believers doesn't go around like just saying you need to believe this or like we can't like or you can't chill with me like you can't sit with us or whatever. they like they like they like offer to sit with them, and then like they just like give them the give them like the give them like the spoon of food, and if they accept it then they accept it, if they don't they don't,
Yeah,
and then just like, all
definitely.
right, cool,
Yeah.
I'm still gonna like sit with you and we're gonna chill, but like I understand, and like you don't want my plate, you have yours. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely.